Just when Alice thinks Wonderland cannot get any stranger, she meets two very unusual creatures with a very unusual story. They talk about a sea dance, singing fish, and lessons that make less and less sense. Alice listens, confused but curious. What is the lobster dance? Why is everyone so serious about such silly things? Something funny and a little mysterious is about to happen. Chapter 10. The Lobster Dance. The Mock Turtle gave a deep sigh and wiped his eyes with the back of his flipper. He looked at Alice and tried to speak, but for a minute or two he could not because he was crying so hard. "It's like he has a bone stuck in his throat," said the Griffin. Then it began shaking him and hitting him gently on the back. At last the Mock Turtle could speak again. Tears were still running down his face as he continued. "You may not have lived much under the sea." "I haven't," said Alice. "And perhaps you have never even met a lobster." Alice almost said, "I once tasted," but she quickly stopped and said, "No, never." "So you cannot understand how wonderful a lobster dance is." "No, I don't," said Alice. "What kind of dance is it?" "Well," said the Griffin, "first you stand in a line along the seashore." "Two lines," cried the Mock Turtle. "Seals, turtles, salmon, and others. Then, after you move all the jellyfish out of the way—" "That usually takes a long time," said the Griffin. "You walk forward twice—" "Each with a lobster as a partner," shouted the Griffin. "Of course," said the Mock Turtle. "You walk forward twice, turn to your partner, then change lobsters and walk back in the same order," said the Griffin. "Then," the Mock Turtle continued, "you throw the lobsters," shouted the Griffin, jumping high into the air, "as far out to sea as you can." "Swim after them," screamed the Griffin. "Turn a somersault in the sea," cried the Mock Turtle, jumping around wildly. "Change lobsters again," yelled the Griffin loudly. "Then you come back to land, and that is the end of the first part," said the Mock Turtle quietly. The two creatures who had been jumping around like crazy suddenly sat down again, looking very sad and calm, and stared at Alice. "It must be a very beautiful dance," said Alice softly. "Would you like to see a little of it?" asked the Mock Turtle. "Oh yes, very much," said Alice. "Come on, let's dance the first part," said the Mock Turtle to the Griffin. "We don't need real lobsters. Which of us will sing?" "You sing," said the Griffin. "I forgot the words." So they began to dance slowly around Alice. Sometimes they stepped on her toes when they came too close. They waved their paws to keep the rhythm while the Mock Turtle sang in a slow, sad voice. "Will you walk a little faster?" said a fish to a snail. "There's a porpoise right behind us, stepping on my tail. See how all the lobsters and turtles hurry on. They are waiting on the beach. Will you come and join the dance? Will you, won't you, will you, won't you, will you join the dance? Will you, won't you, will you, won't you join the dance?" You have no idea how lovely it will be when they pick us up and throw us with the lobsters in the sea. But the snail said, "That's too far," and looked the other way. He thanked the fish politely, but he would not join the dance. Would not, could not, would not, could not, would not join the dance. Would not, could not, would not, could not, would not join the dance. "What does it matter how far we go?" his friend replied. "There's another shore, you know, on the other side. The farther from England, the nearer to France. So don't be afraid, dear snail, but come and join the dance. Will you, won't you, will you, won't you, will you join the dance? Will you, won't you, will you, won't you join the dance?" "Thank you," said Alice. "That was a very interesting dance to watch, and I really like that strange song about the fish." "Oh, about the fish," said the Mock Turtle. "You've seen them before, haven't you?" "Yes," said Alice. "I've often seen them at Din—" She stopped quickly. "I don't know where Din is," said the Mock Turtle, "but if you've seen them, you must know what they look like." "I think so," said Alice. "They have their tails in their mouths and they're covered in crumbs." "You're wrong about the crumbs," said the Mock Turtle. "Crumbs would wash away in the sea. But they do have their tails in their mouths, and the reason is—" He yawned and closed his eyes. "You tell her," said the Gryphon. "The reason," said the Gryphon, "is that they went to the dance with the lobsters. They were thrown into the sea, they fell a long way, their tails got stuck in their mouths, and they couldn't pull them out again. That's all." "Thank you," said Alice. "That's very interesting. I never knew so much about a fish before." "I can tell you more," said the Gryphon. "Do you know why it's called a whiting?" "No, why?" "Because it whitens boots and shoes," said the Gryphon seriously. Alice looked very confused. "Whitens boots and shoes?" "What are your shoes cleaned with?" asked the Gryphon. "What makes them shiny?" Alice looked down at her shoes. "Shoe polish, I think." "Under the sea," said the Gryphon, "they clean boots and shoes with a whiting. Now you know." "And what are shoes made of?" asked Alice. "Of soles and eels, of course," said the Gryphon. "Any shrimp knows that." Alice tried to think about the song again. "If I were the fish," she said, "I would tell the porpoise, 'Please stay back, we don't want you.'" "They had to take him," said the Mock Turtle. "No wise fish goes anywhere without a porpoise." "Don't you mean purpose?" asked Alice. "I mean what I say," said the Mock Turtle, sounding a little angry. "Now," said the Gryphon, "tell us about your adventures." "I can tell you what happened today," said Alice shyly, "but there's no use talking about yesterday because I was a different person then." "Explain that," said the Mock Turtle. "No," said the Gryphon. "Adventures first. Explanations take too long." So Alice began telling them everything that had happened since she first saw the White Rabbit. At first she felt nervous because the Gryphon and the Mock Turtle sat very close to her with their big eyes open wide, but she felt braver as she went on. They listened quietly until she told them about trying to repeat a poem and saying the wrong words. Then the Mock Turtle took a deep breath and said, "That's very strange." "Everything about it is strange," said the Gryphon. "Try to say a poem now," said the Mock Turtle. "Stand up and repeat a poem," said the Gryphon. Alice thought, "They are ordering me around like I'm in school again." But she stood up and tried to say the poem. Because she was still thinking about the lobster dance, the words came out all wrong and silly. "That's not how it used to be," said the Gryphon. "I never heard it before, but it sounds like nonsense." Alice sat down again, covering her face with her hands. She wondered if anything would ever be normal again. "Maybe another dance," said the Gryphon. "Or would you like the Mock Turtle to sing?" "Oh, please sing," said Alice quickly. The Mock Turtle sighed and began to sing in a sad voice about beautiful soup. He sang about how wonderful the soup was, how rich and green it looked, and how nothing else could compare to it. "Sing the chorus again," cried the Gryphon. The Mock Turtle had just started when they heard a shout in the distance. "The trial is starting!" "Come on!" cried the Gryphon. It grabbed Alice's hand and ran off quickly without waiting for the song to end. "What trial is it?" asked Alice while running. But the Gryphon only said, "Come on!" and ran faster. As they ran, Alice could still hear the Mock Turtle's sad voice in the distance singing, "Soup of the evening, beautiful soup." Alice has heard strange songs, stranger jokes, and the most unusual dance in the world, but before she can understand it all, something important begins, a trial. Who's in trouble? What did they do? Wonderland is getting more serious, but also more confusing. Don't miss what happens next. Watch the full story on the channel and continue Alice's adventure.